you about that. But let me first introduce myself and those who are here. Well, first let me ask, how many people here are familiar with Oswit Land Trust? Oh, wow. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. How many people here live in this area within a couple miles? Amazing. Okay. Your mind is going to be blown after today. I know exactly. You walk in. So let me start by introducing myself. My name is Jane Garrison. I am the founder and the executive director of Oswit Land Trust. And for those of you who know Oswit but may not know our beginnings, I just want to share with you the beginning of Oswit Land Trust, and because this kind of feels like Oswit Canyon Part 2. So I'll explain this to you. We started 10 years ago. I was on a little hike in Palm Springs for the first time in my life, minding my own business, and walking down the hike and looking out at a beautiful canyon, but still not even as spectacular as what we have here, but a beautiful canyon. And a woman came next to me and she said, well, you better enjoy it now because it's all going to be destroyed. And I stood there and I could not wrap my head around it. I had no experience in land conservation or anything, but I knew right from wrong. And I knew looking there that that was the wrong place to be building. So I started a campaign.
I can't hear, I'm sorry, because there's too much coming from here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's the competition, it's not your voice.
Oh, okay.
They just,
Hey,
they're
guys.
talking too loud.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I got it.
So guys, okay. He'll, thank you for letting us know. Is that better? Okay. All right. So that started a campaign to save Oswit Canyon. And for 4.5 years, we did everything and anything to save that property from being destroyed with development. And at the end of 4.5 years, with the help of state and federal grants, we bought our first property for $8.6 million, which is a crazy first acquisition. And we bought that canyon and we saved it forever. And that launched Oswit Land Trust. Because after 4.5 years, I thought, I drive around this valley the same way you guys all do. And it's disappearing before my eyes so quickly. And I look at kids and I think, they're not even gonna know what we know. They're not gonna know what a bobcat looks like, what a burrowing owl looks like, what a desert tortoise looks like, because it's gonna be gone. So I decided at that point, we had a great team that was already assembled, many of our board members who are here today. I was like, guys, why stop now? We're just starting. So 5 years ago, we became an official land trust, Oswit Land Trust. Oswit's a Korea Indian word for eagle. And we decided to soar like an eagle. And in these 5 years, we have now protected over 10,000 acres of land. Wow. So we are excited. So let me tell you a little story about this property where you sit right now. I watched so many of you come in, and I was greeting you and introducing myself. And I watched so many of you have the same exact reaction that I personally did when I walked in this property. We were in the middle of buying a property in Palm Springs that is now called Prescott Preserve. It was a closed dying golf course that we decided, ooh, let's restore that back to nature. We were in the process of buying that, and this guy kept calling me over and over. You've got to go out to the Desert Hot Springs. You've got to see this property. You've got to see this property. So Aaron and I, my good friend of almost 30 years and board member, we had a little extra time. We're like, let's just go out. This guy is calling me all the time. We turned off of Palm, and I'm driving in. I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, this is unbelievable. And we pull up to this building, and most people may see a big building. I saw Nature and Education Center. Yeah. Written right across. I was like, okay, what is this? We come inside, and I walk in that front door, and we look out, and I'm like, Serengeti of the Coachella Valley. Like, never had seen a property like this. Now remember, we're looking at properties all the time. So we start the process that has now brought you guys all here. So we started the process of, okay, what would this take to buy this property? What would it take to create something so special that people will come because they're going to want to see what we're doing here? So we started the process. There's 3 owners, okay? I'm gonna show you just so because you're all neighbors in this area. This big area is 640 acres. It goes from Palm to 20th to Bubbling, okay? So it's a big square of 640 acres. Well, we want all 640 acres. I mean, that's, for sure. That's our goal. So we said, all right, where do we start? You have one owner who owns the green part, you have one owner that owns the orange, and you have one owner that owns the old golf course and this building, okay? And another building, which I'll tell you about. So, thanks, Erin. So we decided, all right, can't go after all 3 at once. We have to do it in phases. So what's the first phase? Right where you're sitting here. This is the first phase, because this is where we're going to educate the next generation to care as much as we all care and to show up like all of us showed up. It's going to start right here. So what we started doing is we started bringing other people out here. I wanted to see, like, all right, this is a big project to take on. Like, are we missing anything? Are we thought about everything? So we started bringing everyone and anyone you can imagine out here. We brought Supervisor Manny Perez from the county out here. He went on a tour and said, okay, this is unbelievable. And it was really windy that day. And still, he was like, this is unbelievable. We brought U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, their head biologist for the area out here. We brought California Fish and Wildlife Services out here. We brought the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission. We brought the Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy. We brought every council member from Desert Hot Springs, which led by the amazing Gary Gardner, which I have to say, for any of you, that council member, he has my heart, he has my gratitude, he sees this vision and he cares about the kids and the next generation that's really gotten behind this. He's not here today. But we brought them out here. We started bringing every professional. We brought the state of California, the Wildlife Conservation Board, their staff members out here. We wanted everyone's opinion on what they thought. And you know what every single person said? Oh, you have to make this happen. Like, this is such a special place. You have to make this happen. And it went even further. So we write grants. That's how we get our funding. We write grants. It's like putting a puzzle together. All right, we can get $2 million from this. We can get $3 million from this. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, their head biologist who was out here, she said, Jane, this is so important, I'm going to write the grant for you.
Wow.
Okay, she wrote the grant for us. And part of it is the vision, which I'm going to share with you, but part of it is that when you look at this property, we all just feel it in our hearts. And sometimes it's something that you can't put into words. You just look and you're like, this is special. And you may not be able to describe why. And we may not be the ecologist or the biologist to be able to say, like, this species and this plant and whatever, but we know it. Because we know right and wrong. And we know that this is right. But the thing that this has here, so there is habitat here that is called mesquite hummocks and sand dunes. And 95% of them in the Coachella Valley have been destroyed. They're gone. You can't rebuild them. They're gone. They've been destroyed. No one, stood up for them and stopped it. We're not going to let that happen here. So we have these incredible mesquite hummocks and these sand dunes that, wildlife needs for food. They need it for habitat. How many people who live in this area see wildlife in their yard? Maybe owls. It's amazing. And when you see them, it feels incredible and special. To go somewhere and not see wildlife, or for kids not to see wildlife, it's not okay, and it's unacceptable. So what we realize is that we have an amazing opportunity here. And that's what we have, amazing opportunity. So what our vision includes, okay, is beyond it started like this, steamroller. You're going like, oh, what about if we did this? What about if we did that? So first of all, we would repurpose this incredible building. It's 13,000 square feet, okay? It's an incredible building. We can have offices, all these things. But number one, it would be a regional conservation and education center. It would be a place where people can come and learn. They can come and learn and see what it's about, why we had to protect this, why it's so important. So it would be the Conservation and Education Center. For people who live in the area, what I envision, one of our properties, Prescott Preserve, we have neighbors in the area that started their own little group called Friends of the Prescott Preserve. And we could have Friends of Desert Dunes. And all of you, all the neighbors who live in the area, let's say you were, having an anniversary party. What a place to have it, at a nature preserve. And so we can have a space. Let's say your neighborhood needed to have a community meeting or for anything. We can have a meeting space that we can, stay here, have classes, have bird watching tours, all these things. So we already thought okay, this is just gonna be incredible. So I start talking to the biologists from U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and we start talking about other ideas, because there's another building, you can't see it right from here, but there's another building on this property that's like 4,500 square feet. So her and I started talking about, what can we do with that building? Because you start getting these creative ideas. Well, now we have brought in California Fish and Wildlife, and we're bringing the head conservation person tomorrow from the Living Desert down here. And what we would also like to do is have a Desert Tortoise Head Start program. So what that would mean is that other building would hatch desert tortoise, and the Head Start program is you don't release them until they're big enough that they can survive and not be killed.
Yeah.
So imagine these kids coming to this building where we're all sitting now, and they're learning about the desert. They're holding a desert tortoise in their hand, and they're connecting. In order to save this, we save this. And they're making the connection of how all this works. And they also will see the connection that all of us didn't just see something and turn our back on it. We saw something and said, we're gonna create something really wonderful. And so we're gonna have that here. The other thing is our goal is to own all 640 acres of this property. And the way grants work, we have to do it in phases. We can't just say, all right, we're gonna go after all of them at once. We wouldn't be able to get all the funding that quickly. So this is the first phase. So our goal is to buy all the properties. We do have a little problem. And the little problem is an out-of-town developer. Okay, and some of you may have heard about it, and I have to share this with you because it's important that you know it. It's not stopping us, I will tell you right now. It's not gonna slow us down, it's not gonna stop us, but it's important that all of you as neighbors know what's going on. So there is a developer from out of town, don't even get me started with the out-of-town developers. They wanna come, wreck what we have, take the money and leave, and and you can't go backwards. So as you saw, we have this big square here, if you remember, okay? We're sitting right here. This is the building. So right now, where we're sitting now, we are in what's called an options agreement. We are buying this area, we are in a contract to buy this. We have started figuring out where, we have pre-approval for some grants already. We're applying for others, and we say it's like putting a puzzle together. And we put all the pieces together, and we hope to close on this parcel, which is the old golf course, which has the 2 lakes on it and the big clubhouse and the Desert Tortoise building. Our goal is to close on this by January 2027. Okay, that's our goal. So, it's a lot. It's a lot, but that's our goal. Our biggest problem right now is we have the out-of-town developer, and they are working, they want to get the other parcels. They want to get us out. I mean, that is for sure. They want to get us out. They want us to fail by January because they want to buy this whole thing. And this is their vision.
Is that low-income housing?
It's 3,000. I don't know how many. It's 3,000 houses. Okay?
3,000 more cars.
No, actually, you ready for this? This is fascinating. I was telling Rob, one of our board members, this morning I put into ChatGPT, I put in what kind of traffic, like they have these transportation statistics, what kind of traffic does 3,000 houses? 27,000 car trips a day. Because what it was saying is that this is what traffic engineers use, because one house isn't one trip.
Right.
You have multiple people, they go to the store, they go to work, whatever. So 3,000 houses would generate about 27,000 car trips in this area, with an entrance on 20th and back on 20th and on, was it Bubbling Wells? Yeah, on Bubbling Wells. So this is a...
Everybody moved here to avoid that.
Yeah.
Thank you, exactly. The interesting thing is the builder's name is Blue Fern, and I keep saying they couldn't even have green in their name. It's like, yeah, they couldn't even do it. So before you all leave, before you all leave, I would ask you to take a flyer, send them a little email. Okay, we've sent them emails, we hired a lawyer. We're already gearing up. We're not gonna go away, we are gonna fight this. And send them an email, tell them to stay in Washington State and leave our desert alone. Okay, so when you leave, you can take one of these. The email addresses are on there. I gave you some bullet points of some of the things that we're dealing with, but we're not letting that stop us, that's for sure.
I have a question.
Yes,
My backyard is on Bubbling Well,
yeah,
and it's crowded now,
Yes.
it's noisy.
yes.
How in the world do they have 3,000 homes and people going down Bubbling
Okay, we'll
Well?
do that at the end.
To say nothing of being on
No, no,
910,
don't
which
read
is
it.
our only way in and out.
And it took me 2 hours last Wednesday. 2 hours
Exactly.
to get home.
Exactly. So the one thing I'm going to assure all of you, okay, a couple things. First of all, we are going to stay positive, and we're going to keep our eye on the ball. Eye on the ball is this land is not going to be destroyed. I mean, for cookie cutter 3,000 houses, that's not why any of us moved to the desert. And the good thing is that, we all showed up here. So guess what? We'll show up other places also. So we're very much watching this. And when we need your voice, and when you need, right now, I think it would be great for the CEO of that development company to turn on their computer tomorrow morning and see, 50 emails from people in the area saying, just go away. Just leave it. Go build somewhere else.
Yeah.
So what we'd like to do, and I'll take everyone's questions here in a second. We are going to be submitting, so let me back up for a second with the coalition. So we have 2 things going on at the same time. We are building a coalition of all the conservation organizations. I've been doing tours out here, we've been doing Zooms, and all the conservation organizations in this valley are so excited about this project. So we're submitting a joint letter to the county. Supervisor Perez has been very supportive of this vision. He gets it, he sees it. You know what's interesting? Not one person has come to this property and said oh yeah, well, yeah, why would you want to say this? Not one person. The only one that says that is a developer who doesn't see and doesn't want to see, doesn't care. So exactly. So what we will do, we have a coalition that we're forming of all the conservation organizations that we're going to approach the county. The other thing, if it's okay with all of you, and if you choose not to have your name, just let me know before. We'll just put a little mark next to your sign-in. We're going to be submitting a letter also to the county that we are the surrounding neighbors, and we love this idea. And just to show that it's not just conservation organizations. Conservation organizations are made up of all of us who live in this area. So we are working on that as well. And what we also envision here, besides the Nature Center and the Tortoise Head Start program, is, let's say you had family that was visiting and you wanted to do a tour. We're gonna do docent-led hikes through here. We're going to provide really great walking tours that people can see, okay, look up in the tree over there. Do you see that owl? Do you see this? Do you see that? The interesting thing is, Eric, can you grab the picture of Queen and King? I'm gonna tell you guys a really quick story because I looked back there and I saw them and I'm like, I gotta tell you guys this. So when we went into contract on this property, one of the things that Oswit Land Trust does with all of our properties is we're very committed to security. Very committed to security because we work so hard to get a property. Yeah, the owls do. So one of the things that we do, this is Tiny's babies. We named her Tiny and these are her babies. So this was right out here.
What is it?
They're bobcat babies. They're bobcat babies. So,
Already in your backyard.
already here. So one of the things that we do, Oswit Land Trust,